Hi student, welcome to my channel. Today we will discuss some new topic, that is bipolar junction transistor. Already in my previous lecture I have discussed about PN junction, that means how PN junction is formed, what are the characteristics of depletion region, then how forward bias is formed, and what are the characteristics of forward bias, reverse bias, like this. Okay, now today we will discuss two junction, not only one junction. In case of PN junction we have considered one junction, but in case of BJT we have two junction. Now before going to BJT, first I will request all of you, please go through the previous lecture, that is PN junction. Okay, now BJT stands for bipolar junction transistor. Okay, now what is transistor? Basically this transistor, the word comes from transfer register. In case of BJT or bipolar junction transistor, there are some characteristics. The first characteristics of BJT is, basically in case of BJT we have two junction. One is input junction, or you can say another is output junction, or this is the basic structure of BJT. You can see this. BJT may be two types. One is PNP according to constructional diagram, and another is NPN. Here you can see one thin N-type layer is sandwiched between this P-type layer. That's why this is known as NPN transistor or BJT. Similarly, in the second figure, here one thin P-type region is sandwiched between two N-type region. That's why this type of configuration is known as NPN. Okay. Now, so according to constructional view, you can say that BJT may be two types. One is PNP transistor and another is NPN transistor. From this construction you can see you have two junction. One is here, one is between P and N, and here also another is between N and P. That means one PN and another NP. Similarly here the junction between NP and rest one is between P and N. Okay. Now why the name is transistor? First come to this part. In case of BJT, its input resistance is low and the output resistance is high. That means when current flows through BJT, you can say current passes from low resistance to high resistance. That means you can say one kind of transfer of energy. In that sense, this type of circuit is known as transistor, and which comes from the word transfer register, as because the input register of BJT is low and output register is high. That's why the name is transistor. Now why it is called junction transistor? Basically junction transistor means in case of BJT you can see here it have two junction. That's why this type of configuration is known as junction transistor. Now why it is called bipolar? It is called bipolar because in case of BJT both electrons as well as holes take part in conduction. That's why the name is bipolar. When you are asked that why BJT is bipolar, maximum more of the students answer is, ma'am, it has two pole, south pole, north pole. Not like that. So the name bipolar here stands that both the electrons and holes take part in current conduction. That's why the name is bipolar. And junction, it has two junction, that's why bipolar junction. And in case of bipolar junction, current passes from low resistor to high resistor. That's why the name is transistor. And this is the reason why the name is chosen, that is bipolar junction transistor. Okay. Now in case of BJT, basically BJT has three terminal. Here you can see one terminal is emitter, another terminal is base, and other terminal is C. Okay, that means collector. So BJT has three terminal, or you can say BJT is a three terminal device which are known as emitter, base, collector, and all the points are very important for your multiple choice question. That means why the name is bipolar, why it is transistor, why the junction, what are the terminals of BJT. Okay, like this. And one thing, that BJT is basically current control device. That means the output is controlled through input current. That's why BJT is current control device, not voltage control device. If you are asked that give one example of current control device, so your answer will be bipolar junction transistor. Now if you are asked that give one example of voltage control device, so your answer will be FET, field effect transistor, which I will discuss after BJT. Okay. Now come to the next topic, that is connection diagram of BJT. Okay, so by seeing this connection or symbol, this is the basically symbol of BJT, you can say that it is NPN transistor or PNP transistor. How it is possible? See, here this is collector terminal and this is emitter and this is base, and always one arrow is provided into the emitter terminal to represent its current direction. That means the current direction in which way current will be passed, that is focused in the emitter terminal, and always one arrow will be present through the emitter terminal. And seeing the direction of arrow, you can say that is it NPN or PNP. In case of NPN transistor, the arrow always will be in exit direction. That means current, the direction of current will be through exit direction through emitter terminal in case of NPN. But in case of PNP, the direction of current will be entry direction, entry through emitter terminal. That means if the direction is just like a entry through emitter terminal, then this is the symbol of PNP transistor. Whereas if the symbol of this arrow is just exit through emitter, then this type of symbol denotes PNP transistor. So in your circuit, by seeing this symbol, you can easily say that is it NPN transistor or PNP transistor. Okay. So you just go through this. Now why the collector region is wider than the emitter region in the BJT? Already I have shown you the structural diagram. Here you can say this emitter and collector region or the width of this region is more or less same. But if you compare, then this collector width is slight greater compared to this emitter region. Why? The reason behind this is the collector is made wider so as to make heat dissipation easier, whereas thinner base will increase the value of beta of the transistor. Basically, if our collector region width will be greater compared to emitter and base, the reason behind is, number one is to dissipate the power easily. Okay. Now if dissipation is lower, then what happens? That means if dissipation is lower, that means maximum heat will be absorbed by this device. In that case, device may be burned out. So to avoid this kind of situation, always the width of the collector region is made greater compared to emitter and base. Also, if your region is lower, in that case it is seen that beta value, okay, so this, whereas this beta value will be increased. Okay, now what is beta? This I will describe in my next lecture. That is, beta is one kind of gain, current gain of transistor. Okay, that means if your collector region, the width of the collector region is higher, then what happens? In that case, the dissipation will be easier. Okay, then if dissipation is easier, then what happens? In that case, you can say the value of beta will be increased. So due to this reason, the collector region or the width of the collector region for the BJT is made greater or wider compared to emitter and base. Okay, why emitter is always forward biased? Again, you may ask, emitter is always forward biased. See here in this case, first I told you that the input side is low resistor and the output side is high resistor. Now if your input is low resistor, that means which biasing will be applied? Forward or reverse? Yes, forward, because we all know when diode or junction is in forward bias, then maximum current will be passed. That means voltage drop across that device will be low. So voltage drop low means the value of resistance is high, sorry, the value of resistance is low. Now if you apply reverse bias means voltage drop is high. Voltage drop high means the value of resistor is high. So again I am saying the input side of BJT is low. Okay, the resistance of the input side. So low resistance means low voltage drop, that means forward bias. High resistance means high voltage drop, so reverse bias. So that's why the emitter side is basically forward bias in case of BJT, and collector side is reverse bias. Okay. Now again one question may be asked that can a transistor be obtained by connecting two transistor diode back to back? Here you can say according to this configuration or the constructional view, here you have two junction PN, NP. Now my question is, if you connect one PN junction with another PN junction, then what happens? If you connect one PN junction with another PN junction like this, suppose you have a diode, okay, one PN junction, and this PN junction is again connected to this, see, then what happens? So if you positive means what? Anode. So this is P, now this is N and this also N, that means APN, and this also P. Now if so, PNP transistor, just like a view of PNP transistor. Now if you connect these two diode back to back, then what happens? So when you have positive voltage, okay, so diode will be forward bias, so current will flow through this. But again when this voltage come to this side, so this is negative, that means current doesn't flow through this overall circuit, so it will be blocked. So at the output side you cannot get any output. That's why according to constructional view, if you are asked that if you connect two diode in back to back condition and if it behaves like a transistor, so your answer will be no, you cannot do this. Okay. Next question is working principle of NPN transistor. So the working principle is just like your PN junction working principle. That means in case of, if it is a NPN transistor, so in case of N, majority carrier is electron, and in case of P, majority carrier is hole, and again in case of N, majority carrier is electron. Now one question may ask that why this base region is thin or lightly doped. Basically this emitter junction is highly doped and this base region is lightly doped. Why? Because if this emitter junction is heavily doped, then majority carrier will try to move from this P side to N side. Suppose this is NPN transistor, consider this one. Okay, now this one that is NPN. Come to the working principle. Now in case of NPN transistor, this side is heavily doped and this base region is lightly doped. Now what happens? Now majority carrier for N is electron, so electron will try to move from N to P side, and this P for P type majority carrier is hole, and hole will try to move from which direction? This N type, okay, or it will try to move from this side. Now if this region is heavily doped, then what happens? Electron and holes both are combined to each other, so movement of electron will be blocked, so conductivity will be less. Suppose assume you have 100 electrons here, okay, so 100 electrons will be neutralized if you have 100 holes. Now if you have 5 holes, that means 5 electrons will be combined with these 5 holes, and maximum electron will try to move from emitter to base and from base to collector. So electron moves means there has some current flow, that means there is some conductivity. So that's why the region of base is lightly doped. So our tendency is to move the majority carrier from emitter side to collector side. So if electron or hole moves from emitter to via base to collector, so there is a movement of these charge carriers. That means there is a conductivity. But if it is seen that most of the electrons or holes are combined to each other in the base region, that means movement will be less, so conductivity will be less. In this case, the region of base is lightly doped to prevent this neutralization, or you can say to prevent this combination, or that electron and hole combine to each other, to prevent this process. Okay. Now you can see that in case of NPN transistor, the emitter current IE is negative, IB is positive, and IC positive. So emitter current is negative and your base emitter voltage is negative. Now which one is base emitter voltage? See, here this is emitter, this is base, and this is collector. So the voltage, so here base is common, so the voltage between emitter and base, this is known as base emitter voltage, or you can say emitter base voltage. Whereas the voltage between collector and base, that is known as collector to base voltage or base to collector voltage, which is written here VCB, and this emitter base voltage is written here EB. In my previously I have told you that your input junction is what? Forward biased, and output junction is reverse biased. Check. N is connected with N. That means what? Forward bias or reverse bias? Yes, forward bias. So forward bias means either N to N or P to P. So here you can say that N is connected to N, that means this is forward bias. And here output side, your N is connected to P, that means reverse bias. Okay. Now this is the working principle for PNP transistor. You just go through this. PNP means here majority carrier holes, here majority carrier electron, and here majority carrier hole. Now see, to make this forward bias input side, so P will be connected to what? P. So like this, P is connected to P, and this P is connected to N to make it reverse bias. Okay. So this is all about the just introduction of BJT. You go through this. And here are some special points related to PNP transistor, which one is positive and which one is negative. Okay. And from this construction, or from this characteristics, or from this diagram working principle, the conclusion which is made, that is always the emitter current IE is the summation of base current and collector current. As because the base is lightly doped, so the base current is very small, and for calculation purpose in some cases we can neglect this base current. So you can say this emitter current is just equivalent to collector current. That means the emitter current and this collector current is almost same. But the normal expression for the current in BJT, whatever it may be in PNP mode or whatever it may be in NPN or PNP, the total current for PNP as well as for NPN is, that is emitter current is summation of base current and collector current. Okay. Thank you student, you go through this. Okay.